Good evening, all you wonderful TIs out there. This is MM's TI Strategy Guide. The time is 7:57 p.m. and it's on a Sunday, December 8th. What I wanted to share with you today is a barrier for the EMF, for not just the EMF radiation, but also the MK Ultra V2K that they use against you. Now, the thing about this is, as far as my situation from where my targeting escalated and got to the point to where like I became fully aware of what was going on, was that I noticed a lot some other strange things around my living space, and what they did was, while I was gone, like everything else was dry, but by the time I came back, there were these mysterious looking puddles just placed around my apartment. I don't know if it was an attempt to get them to, for them to say, well, like we were in here or something like that, but it was something more sinister. And I meant to dry them up, but I forgot. And then around a day and a half later, the same spots as far as where they had the stuff sprayed down. One of the particular spots was located in the cabinet where I had my stuff in. Now they did this to two individual cabinets in both different sides of the unit. Now it just so happens that I've ended up seeing mold in there that started to form. Now I understand certain conditions mold will form, but this was no ordinary kind of mold. This mold was eating through the wood, and it's only been there for like a day and a half. A day and a half. Now, what I've started to realize is, due to my research, I found out that they're exposing people and even injecting them with this by, siphoning, trying to basically mix your food in with stuff like this, the food that you eat, and even the air that you're being exposed to on a daily basis. And if you like, one thing they're going to build a whole bunch of possible superstitions around is Magellan. I guarantee you Magellan actually is real, and it does exist, and it actually is a thing. The reason why they don't want people to believe it is because they're trying really hard to pretty much get people's focus away from that. They just want to have nothing but superstitions, and that's it. The other one that they use against you is Candida. If you don't know what that is, I recommend you look it up. What it is a type of virus that stems from both the inner parts of your core, where your body is, and then it works its way around, and then it even enters your bloodstream. Of all places, it enters your bloodstream. And I've already gone over several steps to combat that. But anyway, what I wanted to go over here in this video is a barrier for both that can help you against both MK Ultra and V2K. Now, as far as the V2K thing, you're gonna need some tones that you want to download. As far as Daniel Zakaos, you can find his channel on YouTube somewhere. It should be somewhere around there. I'm doing this for people to urgently find methods to protect themselves, because they're going to end up taking a lot of these small channels down as soon as December 10th hits. So I want people to actually be able to, find and get this information as much as they can to protect themselves. Now, what you want to do is, if you got the cash, the spare on this, or even if you already have this, get yourself a surround sound system. It doesn't have to be too many speaker docks. All you need is no more than 4, just enough for each corner of whatever room that you're mostly dwelling in. Now, the reason for this is that one of the tones that Zakaos has, and it's not just Zakaos, it's also Good Vibes. Good Vibes also has the exact same stuff. You can find their YouTube channel on YouTube as well, and they have these rife frequencies that just so happens to kill off pathogens. Now, why do you want this? It's because some of the stuff that you're being sedated to due to this V2K, and not just that, but also the right energy weapons and all that. It all plays a part about with this fungi. And what I realized is, I ended up taking a spray bottle, and I took some iodized sea salt. I mixed it up. I made sure the water was all sedated with the iodized sea salt. I sprayed the area of where I was laying down at, and I discovered like they could not touch me with this. It just wouldn't work. It just would not even do anything. They would have like much less of a chance to really do anything with this weapon. And what I discovered was like after a few minutes of my testing on this, I discovered like I was after a few minutes or so, like around a good 15 to 20 minutes, I ended up being sedated with it again. So I realized that this is the stuff that grows as it's in as it stays where it's at. It's a constant. Something that constantly spreads. So if you're detoxing, you gotta understand the stuff that they're sedating you with. Your body is naturally rejecting it. It's naturally rejecting it, but they got it fixed so this stuff would constantly keep infecting you and infecting you and infecting you, and you're just gonna be. It's just as the body is dousing this stuff out. And this could be through various methods as far as bodily functions, whether whether you go number one or number two, whether you fart, whether you cough, whether you sneeze, even take a bath. All stuff like this is what's causing this stuff, causing a rejection of this stuff to exit out of the body. Problem is that you cannot be drinking any type of beverages as far as stuff with high fructose corn syrup, anything with metallical substances, and yes, canned goods are on the list for this. I know I'm kind of mad because I used to use those at first, but when I found out about the heavy metals, if you ever wonder why it's so really hard for you to be able to move around when you get beamed by this stuff, you want to blame that part as being part of the culprit for that. But anyway, on back onto the barrier. The barrier is this is just the sound barrier, and the sound barrier has two different functions. First off, you can use it to block the V2K. You can also use it to also like kill off the fungi as well. The other type of barrier I got, in this one you can use it in a two-way combo. You got one for both the V2K, or you could just use it for the fungi, and you can also buy yourself a dehumidifier. Now, this is not just for your walls. This is not just for your floor. This is not just for your ceiling. What this will do is you want to get a humidifier, and you want to buy yourself some iodized sea salt. What you want to do is you want to mix. I would really recommend for you to invest in a alkaline filter. An alkaline filter is something you got to understand, like the body's functions is meant to have alkaline in it. But the water that's coming, like if you're using tap water, you got to understand they fill your water with toxins. This whole thing operates around a toxic like environment. So if your body is filled with any kind of toxins at all, then it's going to increase the amount of influence this stuff has over you. So what you want to do is look for water that is high in alkaline. They even have filters that do this. So what you're going to want to do is, and if you can't find a filter, or if like, because I know they are known for tampering with people's mail. I'm a current victim of that constantly, unfortunately. The other situation is that if you cannot get a hold of a filter like that, which I kind of doubt, you should be able to find like something, as far as going to like somewhere like Home Depot or Menards. I don't know if Menards have something like that, but I bet Home Depot does. But anyway, what you want to be aware of is you definitely want to get a filter for alkaline, but if you can't get that, then buy bottles of Fiji water. Fiji water is one of the highest leading water bottles that has high levels of alkaline in it. Not the very highest of where you really want it, but at least high enough. And what you want to do is you don't have to get depending on the size of your apartment unit, depending on the size of your house, is depending on the size of the humidifier you want to get. What you want to do is, just as I said, get the iodine sea salt, and it has to be iodine. The natural minerals within iodized sea salt kills off fungi. So you got to understand, with the humidifier turning that in the water into vapor, that stuff's going into the oxygen. It's undoing and killing all those that fungi pathogen that's in the air that you're breathing. As far as the surfaces, as far as your walls, your floors, your ceiling, anywhere in your unit of where you're living, this stuff will kill it all out. It will literally immediately take care of it for you. But the only thing is like, I don't know if people are allergic to iodine, so just to be safe, even if you're not, just to be safe, wear play it safe and either like just let it do its thing and maybe like wait outside for a few minutes or so far or so forth, and then try that. But also just be mindful of that, and don't let it go for too long, just long enough to, just to clear out the air or whatever. And you got to be mindful, like one thing I realized is that when it comes to those vapor trails, they're doing this like on a daily basis. They're doing this day every day. There's not one day you will walk outside and not see a vapor trail. And what this stuff does is it puts this stuff in the oxygen. So when you're walking outside, you're exposed to that. When you're touching on anything that's on the outside, you're exposed to that. When you're walking from the outside to the inside, you're tracking it in. So when you like, as far as like, if you really want to keep your home free of this, my recommendation is to whatever clothes you got on after you walk outside, whatever shoes you got, spray down your shoes with some water and iodized sea salt. And as far as your clothes, put them in a bag. Put them in a bag, and keep, or like a hamper or something, a plastic laced hamper, and keep that stuff in a disclosed location to where you can have it highly contamination control, basically. Not enough to where it gets like serious, but just enough to where you can control the spread, because this stuff will spread fast if you allow it to remain dormant. But that's basically my tips on for the barrier and for the protection barrier, whatever. Now, there's various other methods to actually protect yourself from this stuff, but I highly recommend you to do some research. I really do. And one of the things you also want to invest in is you gotta clear out your internal organs, such as your colon, your kidneys, and stuff like that. You got to detox that stuff out of your system, because that stuff will stay in there and it will keep growing and keep festering in there for as long as you let it. But one of the things I actually was thinking of inventing, and I think this would actually help a lot of people out, because I figured if the surround sound system actually does work out, as far as with the fungi tones from Zacchaeus and all that, what if someone was to invent a sound bath? And what this will basically do is it will your body is set into a chamber, right? Obviously not where your head is, because like this is going to be like a lot of frequencies. You do not want your ears to be submitted by frequencies bouncing around all over the place. But what this will do is it'll play the healing frequency, and it will literally detoxify every cell from the neck down. Now, whether it should go to the head, to the feet, I don't know. But I believe, even if I don't ever invent it, I want this information out so someone probably will go out and do it. Because I believe this will actually also help people eliminate this fungi epidemic that's been going on. But one thing I will point out, as far as relevance to all of this, and as you can see, they turned the meter up past from 490 to 500 to 500 to around close to 550. No, yeah, it's going at 550. But the thing that I wanted to also go over is that this stuff is not just there to harm you, but it also protects you in a way. But as you see, they're basically just using it to harm you. For people who have experienced this, for people who are looking at this whole scenario from the outside in, who has not experienced this, I'm sorry, but like you won't have the full in depth to grasp what's really going on, because you haven't had that experience. And honestly, in some cases, I would consider people like that lucky. But really, what's really going on with the whole keeping hush hush about a lot of stuff with these organizations, these criminal organizations do. It's more, I would say it's more of a benefit, because at least that way when you're even though it's as hard as it is to live through this, at least you're on a more spiritualized set of awareness, so you can actually turn your life around if you've been going in the wrong direction. But what I wanted to go over was that you gotta understand, like this stuff, when it comes to like a lot of stuff from the past, like the freaking common cold, the whooping cough, the black plague, all of that stuff. I believe this technology was immediate design was mostly for disease control. This stuff can most likely, I'm willing to bet, this stuff can cure just about almost any disease out there that you can think of, since it used nanotype technology. But unfortunately, they're just using it for basically selfish gain. They're not using it to basically help the help society. I mean, like if anything, it's making things worse because, and as you can see, they turned it down from 550 to 500, and it's staying between 500 and 535. You can see the different levels they're switching it from, though. But yeah, the please tell me I did not just lose my train of thought. Anyway, the thing about most of this stuff is that you really, really just want to do your research just like I did. As long as you do that, you'll come up to a more better understanding of this. And as far as the works, the gang stalking that they do, that goes on as far as everything is concerned, it's my understanding that all that's just a distraction. It's a distraction to get you focused on that. They want you to focus on that for a reason. The reason why they're focusing, they get your focus there, is to divert your attention from what's really going on, from the people who are doing stuff that can't afford to get caught. And with these people who really can't afford to get caught are doing, they're most likely are scanning for your EEG when you least and when you're most likely least suspecting it. Now, they're not going to want themselves to be found. If you see a freaking perp just hiding somewhere, and which I had before, don't even worry about them. What I mean by like these people do not want to be seen, period, I mean they do not want to be seen at all. They don't. They will not allow themselves to be anywhere near your line of vision. They won't. They will do the best they can to blend in with the crowd, so you won't even know they're around. Sometimes they will maybe even show themselves in plain sight, so you can at least be near the vehicle that they're in. But as far as seeing their face, I'm just gonna tell you right now, they will not show you their face. They won't, and there's a good reason because as close as they are to a lot of other things, is why they don't want their face to be seen. They may even send someone as a diversion. Like if you see a perp messing around in any kind of way, you got to understand all of this stuff is nothing but a pure diversion. It's nothing but a pure desperate attempt to gain your attention because they need your attention. And the reason why they need your attention is because it's the only way for this stuff to hone in on your mental state. When this stuff hones in on it, then that's when they basically got you. And what I realized is a lot of the stuff really does bend towards mental focusing. So if one was to be able to enhance the strength of their mental focusing, what they would be able to do is channel off their focus from what the gang stalkers are doing onto something entirely different. And once you're able to do that, and once you're able to master your mental thinking as well, you can channel this gang stalking stuff to freak out. You can do that. And I realized that a lot of the stuff they do is all bent towards negativity. And it seems like it's an attempt to fill your entire void with negative energy. I played a video with positive energy, and the gang stalkers I had went ballistic because of that. They got so desperate. Some of them were even cursing underneath their breath, and I'm like, wow. I would never even expect to get a reaction like that from a gang stalker, but it's just as I said. Stuff like just ignoring them and stuff like that really pisses them off because they don't get paid unless you actually pay attention to them. They don't get paid unless you pay them mind. But if you don't even so much as look at them, so much as think about them, don't even think about what they're doing, what they're saying, they don't get paid. The whole thing is an attempt to basically infiltrate your mind. And the street theater is nothing but a front. And if they make threats in front of you, you gotta really question it. First off, who, if such a thing was true, why on earth would they say it in front of you? Why would they tip you off? Like, who does that? Who runs off the mouth saying, you're gonna end up in this situation, you're gonna end up in that situation, this will happen, that will happen. Why would they tip you off? And the question is that if something really was going on that you weren't aware of, that they didn't, that they would actually hinder their plans, they're not gonna tell you that. They'll tell you a lie. They will say a lie in front of you. And also, this goes without saying, don't ever accept food from from people who even from people who like you suspect are perps, from people who for 100 obviously for 100% for a fact are perps, and from people who hang around perps who are offering you food. My best bet is if you're a target individual, do not accept food from strangers. It's best if you don't, because they're gonna lace that food with something. Anyway, I hope this information helps. This is MMTI Strategy Guide. I'm over and out.